Well, good morning and welcome to day one of CISO Forum Canada 2021. As the chair mentioned in the opening comments, it's the third iteration of this conference, and I'm truly fascinated by the journey that we've gone on. And to be here for the third iteration of this conference in this hybrid environment is truly a testament to the success that this conference has seen over a period of time. My name is Ali Hirji, and many of you may know me as the lead for both AI and cybersecurity at Durham College. And in today's session, I'm going to be diving deep into the impacts of quantum in the world of ransomware and cybersecurity in general. You know, often when I was in high school, I remember being told that physics, computers, are the operating systems of the universe. And if you really want to see what's changing in this operating system, a peek into quantum is probably a good starting point for you. I'm going to go a bit of on a limb here, but I know you and I could talk at length about a lot of subjects, including cricket. Very important time in the world right now when it comes to cricket, especially if you have teams from South Asia, very interesting times. But Asif, we'll leave that for coffee at another time. But Asif, it's a pleasure again to share the stage with you. Very quickly, tell our audience about who you are, your amazing achievements and work at PwC, and again, why is this topic of intrigue to you?
Thanks, Ali. It's hard not to talk about cricket at this point in time. However, we'll pivot back to our topic right now. So I work in PwC, basically in risk assurance, leading both cybersecurity risk and controls and emerging tech. And why this is topically a big area of interest is because having like a lot of people on this forum, being client-facing all the time, we see cyber as new threat vectors emerging every single day. And a lot of them are emerging across the conventional paths and routes that Andrew spoke about. And then we see a lot of threats emerging on the new plethora of technology which is coming and hitting our way across various different existing technologies, organizations moving to the cloud, workers becoming remote, workers becoming mobile. And also a lot of information going into organizations who were always not on the primary but on the tertiary field, example in healthcare with COVID, etc. So we see a lot of this coming up, and a special area of interest as we kind of constantly are on the lookout of new technologies which will be disruptors in the coming future, and quantum pretty much ranks the highest amongst that. So that's kind of the area of interest and something that we'll be talking about today as well with Andrew and others. Thank you.
Fantastic. And I think, you did a really good job in not just explaining why quantum is, you've done work in AI, in IoT, in blockchain, but you've rated quantum right up there. And I think to our audience members as well, if you take the time and you go to the IronCAP group on the CyberExchange platform, you'll see quite a lot of notes that have been posted around research around quantum. Some, I believe, reference these panelists as well. So please, if you're just getting into this space or you've already started engaging with quantum encryption techniques, which are some of the work that's being evaluated within the NIST environment as well, there's a lot of neat information you can get from the IronCAP group. We've got about 22 minutes to go, and we've got a select set of questions to ask each panelist, and I'm going to dive right into the deep end. Asif, since you mentioned a sector-specific approach to quantum, and you mentioned healthcare, I want to take you up a little bit on that. So in the recent past, probably even a week and a half ago, we've seen hospitals in Newfoundland and Labrador, some hospitals in Ontario and across North America, but a lot in Canada have seen a concentrated barrage of attacks. When you look at something like this, what does it tell you about the healthcare sector as a consistent target, and how does that shape when you think about the threat that is coming and emerging through quantum techniques? Asif, a couple of minutes for your perspective.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Ali, because you see, the thing is that right now our healthcare systems are just so overwhelmed at the moment that everyone is kind of focused on what their core is. There's a huge influx of new kind of data coming in all sorts. And on the other end, if you look at the strategic trends on the dark web, there's the amount of price which is out to pay for personal identifiable information, PII, has drastically gone up on those dark exchanges. So what's actually happening is that looking into the weakest link in that chain, we see a lot of cybersecurity threats coming this way. And last year, the biggest thing on the news was about this diagnostic lab, which had a breach. And then after that, we saw 3 hospitals go in. And this time, it's happened in Newfoundland and Labrador, which is now rated as a national cybersecurity threat for Canada. That's how this breach is being identified. Systems went down. Healthcare was not being provided at a time of crisis that we face right now in COVID. And then we see a huge new number of trends coming in, right? Because they had to be taken care of because of the overwhelming surge in tertiary healthcare centers, which were not really positioned to take care of cybersecurity with as diligence as a big hospital could, or they didn't have the resources. So the government of Canada has come up with a series of regulations, and there's a lot of outcry for these enterprises to basically asking government to increase the standard. But at this point, I would also like, Andrew, we've discussed this topic a few times, Andrew, within ourselves as well, right? That I think that this particular sector has been quite underserved, and the threat vectors seem to be pointing towards it a lot. So I just wanted, Andrew, of our discussion, if you could shed some light on this as well, please.
Well, in fact, you're right. It has been underserved, and that's, pointing right back to my, analogy of the tsunami. There's a siren here, and we see a lot of people kind of ignoring the siren. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I heard the siren, but there's a blue sky out there, and let me see if there's anything happened before I react. And this is a very dangerous proposition as how we started. And we really have no time to act, because it takes time to upgrade your encryption, and that lead time between you compare that lead time to the time when the quantum computer, a big quantum computer, become available on the public hands, right? It's actually way too late already, from that stance. Yeah.
And I would completely agree to that. And we also, to add to that, I think everyone would agree, is that because our workers are becoming mobile, right, we see lack of general training amongst the users, because they were so used to working from within the environment of their office or the enterprise. Now a home user is not trained well enough, and hence the susceptibility to fall to various different phishing attacks or attacks such nature has kind of gone up so high. So this is something that we see in the healthcare system as well. And one thing I would like to just point out, that for people who are interested, so Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity has got a new distinct cyber threat management outline for healthcare organizations. So, to read up on it. However, I feel that it is, like everything else in this space, it's a study in progress. So Ali, back to you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And cybersecurity is not a destination. It is a journey, as our chairs at the beginning had stated. So thank you, Asif and Andrew, for that very good commentary on why healthcare needs to be paying attention to this growth in quantum encryption, etc.